Welcome, Reef Beef. My name is Ben Johnson. This is Richard Ross. And today we are going to have a minor beef about how Richard Ross is the center of the moral universe. And we're going to be answering some questions and answers from watchers. Thank you so much. And we're just going to ramble on about that. And we have a sponsor again for this show, saltwateraquarium.com.
But more on them later. Yes. How excellent is that? That was a good intro, Ben. Have you been practicing?
I try. Practice makes perfect.
You tried to practice or you practiced?
I really try, and that's so bad because I practice to practice.
Yeah.
And it's brutal. And
you never actually get to it because you're always just practicing.
It's, what is that, Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the mountain?
Yeah.
That's my intro game. Never quite.
Look at this.
I know, but see, that's Jesus blocking. I'm on the side, pushing it up the side. Never seeming to get.
Right.
Never seeming to get anywhere.
I put this Easter play kit. It's got a boulder, and you pull it aside, and then it's got.
It's a Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, well, that's the Kraken lives in there now because
he woke up.
Yeah. Hopefully, he'll go back to sleep. Release the Kraken.
Release the Kraken.
So somebody sent me a link to that, and I thought it was funny, so I put it up on social media and said someone should buy this for me. And then somebody did, and it arrived in the mail, but I have no idea who sent it to me. So if you sent it to me, thank you very much. Please let me know who you are so I can
wait. Can I do that with a Lamborghini?
Try it.
That would be so funny if someone sent me one of these.
I think you should try it and see what happens. What's the worst that'll happen is you won't get one.
So tell me about your anti-beef or minor beef or.
Oh, so, because we've been talking about social issues in the reef keeping world, right? So I got a phone call from somebody because they put something on their YouTube page, and I'm going to use a different term. They used a term, and I'm going to use a different one because there's no reason to know who this is, right? Or try to track them down or anything. And they wanted to know if they were in the right or in the wrong. So what they did essentially was akin to, is kind of like using the word retarded, my retarded fish. That's not what it was. It was something else, but it's kind of the similar kind of thing. And they wanted to know if they were in the wrong for saying that, because they got a note from somebody that said, hey, I really like your channel, but that really makes me feel bad. Right.
Wait, this person also has a channel?
Yeah, they have some. Everyone's got a YouTube channel, right? Even if you don't have a show, you have a YouTube channel. If you put content on YouTube, you have a channel.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
So they put something up about we're going to say a retarded fish, right?
Yeah.
And their thing was, but the fish is retarded. I'm being accurate. And they said, am I right or am I wrong? And I went, you're wrong. And they went, what do you mean? But it's accurate. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's accurate or not. It's, in fact, retarded is the example I used from them. And I said, you don't get to say that anymore. It never really was funny. It was only funny in the sense of, retarded people are funny, which is not the case. So we just don't get to use that term in that way anymore. And we got into a little bit of discussion about the realities around that. And I kind of went, wait, that actually doesn't matter. We don't even need to care about that. A viewer of yours reached out to you and said, I love what you're doing, but you use this term and it really made me feel bad and sets me off and makes me not want to watch your channel. Don't use that word anymore, right? You're not getting thousands of viewers from using that term. Yeah. It's just one tiny little joke, which isn't funny, never really was, right? It's just a reference. You just don't get to use it anymore. And even more importantly, you had someone ask you not to use it and tell you how it made them feel. So why would you want to ignore that when you could just remove this one thing? We used to, when I was performing, we would say, cut your darlings, or, if the joke is not working, pull it out.
Yeah.
And it's like, we have 1,000 jokes in the show.
Just plug in another one.
We don't need this one. We can lose 20% of the jokes and it's still fine. It's the same thing with things like that. If your viewers are telling you this is lame, and kind of is, right? It is, you know.
Let me play devil's advocate.
Okay.
This isn't necessarily my opinion. I just love to play devil's advocate. And
okay, put on your devil's advocate voice.
Oh, damn, I need I need like a demon costume.
Perfect.
I just like appear like an actual devil with a pitchfork. But I know the word you're talking about, and I do agree with you that it's like you know, that segment of society says like we don't like that word, and so you move on. I mean, when I was a kid, the word that you're using that is not the word you said, retarded. When I was a kid, we said that, and we were insensitive kids. We obviously we were malformed as of yet. Our frontal cortex wasn't finished cooking, and through time, people are like, hey, don't use that word. I bucked against that for a while because I'm known for kind of my mouth for the longest time. But, the older I've gotten, I've softened up on that. And it's just like, if a lot of people who that word does affect say, we don't like that word, is it that big of a deal to take out a word? Now, the devil's advocate aspect is like, if it was something more innocuous and simply one person said, hey, I don't like that, I might gloss over it.
Well, I think that's what they were checking, and it's like referring to things like we all did when we were growing up. That's gay, right?
Yeah,
and when we were young, I know we've talked about this before, that word had no connection to homosexuals or gay people, right?
Yeah,
the word was just that word. So when it turned out that word actually had a connection to people and it hurt them because it was disparaging them just because of who they were, I stopped using that word like that, because why wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think when I was in junior high, my gay uncle came to live with us. He was just at a crossroads in his life.
Yeah. And
I really always, since I was a kid, he was super fun. I always loved him. And that was totally in that period of my life where, your buddy said, and it's so terrible now, but you say, oh, that's gay. And then you would try to explain away. Oh, I mean, like, it's dumb.
So say it's dumb.
I stopped and thought about it. And it's like, dude, it's just back up off of that. It's terrible. It's not like a hill you want to die on.
Right. Because it's just a word. Things change all the time. And so, I was just like, yeah, you can't, let
me ask you a question though. Are you comfortable with being some like moral guy on the top of the hill to come ask questions to?
What does that pay?
But
I
you
will
tend
always
to do it. If anyone who knows you tend to do it.
Well, I tend to say what I think, and I tend to think that my positions on stuff like this are pretty well reasoned, and I'm very confident about myself. So I say it like it's true.
Yeah.
But I'll also say, like I said to this person, this is my take on it. This is what I think. And if you called me, you want my take on it. And my take is, don't use that word. It's why would you alienate anybody intentionally for a joke or a reference that doesn't really help you build anything? Yeah. So, I certainly don't want to be the center of the center, but I am privileged in many ways. I am white. I am male. My
sexy.
Family, I'm fucking drop dead sexy, baby. My family's doing well. I'm very, very privileged. And because of that privilege, I often feel the need to speak up.
I get it.
Because
the older I've been moving towards that position.
Yeah.
I've been a bit of a hill raiser most of my life, saying whatever I say what the fuck I want to say, but the older I've gotten, then I kind of pay more attention to other people. And it's like, look, you don't always have to say what you say, because you just hurt that person's feeling for no goddamn reason. And that doesn't feel good.
Exactly. So I'm happy to have those conversations. I'm more thrilled that our discussions on this stuff, people are listening. That's pretty exciting in the first place. Yes. That anybody pays attention to our show is so great.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, thank you so much.
That's a good place to say, hey, everybody in the Reef Beef community, Please like, subscribe, notifications. You can go to our website. There's a Reef Beef notifications page where it'll send you an email when there's a new episode.
You can sign up for notifications, which would be cool. Yeah. And if you liked and subscribed and shared, especially on other forums and stuff, and get us some kind of exposure, that would be fantastic. Because it feels weird to us to go onto forums that we frequent infrequently and go, watch our show.
I'll tell you just a real quick thing, candidly. Like Snowman had asked me one time to go on to Facebook groups and push the show. And as my common theme, where I tell you that I'm not a bullshitter, is I came back right away and said, man, like, I don't like jumping into a community to do, like, first off, just do a self-serving thing. Like, hey guys, I'm Ben, look at this video. That is not my style. That's not how I live my life. It feels weird. Yeah. And so we just kind of doubled back on that. And really it's up to our fans. If you love the show, help us push it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Because Snowman came on and said, hey, I want to help you guys be successful more. And we went, sure. This is the stuff you and I never would have done.
No,
we would have just kept talking and just
we
whatever,
were just fucking around
until we got bored. He came on and went, I can help you make this more of a thing. And it's like, okay, a thing sounds like fun. And he's, Snowman's totally right, because that's how these things get spread around. So if you like it, there's a couple things you could do: like, subscribe, share, go onto forums and share there, where, otherwise we'd just be self-promoting weirdos. And that
feels too douchey.
Feels awkward. Yeah. And also on our page now on reefbeastpodcast.com, there's the notifications thing, but there's also buy Reef Beef a beer. Which is awesome, because I don't drink beer, but Ben does.
That's so buymeacoffee.com.
Yeah, but now it says buy me a beer because that's funnier. And you can sign up for that, and you can set, it's like Patreon, but it's but there are reasons to go with this one. But you sign up and you can send money directly to help support the show. And supporting the show monetarily means, Ben can get a new background, or we can get more storage on Google that we just had to buy, or, we have to pay for the Zoom, or, there's all kinds of expenses that come up.
There's more expenses about this thing than I had any idea about. Like more room on Zoom to store stuff, PayPal stuff, turning that into a business account, setting up stuff for merchandising. We'll be trying to look at merch in not too long.
Yeah, we'll have merch soon, because that's fun.
Hey, let me give props to the people that already buy me a beer.
Buy me a beer. It was amazing. And we're going to, when you're done with that, I think we're going to get to questions about, from a bunch of these people who bought us a beer. So
absolutely. So there was patio, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it might be like patio or something, or it could just be backyard patio. I don't know.
Cool.
Because the other guys or woman or whoever, Potu with a bunch of O's, and I don't know what the hell that is. Potu. Thank you, Potu. Here's another one, Samantha Nasrati. Thank you very much.
It's Potu. Yeah, I think it's potato.
But they left out the A's and O's.
I know. But it's,
is it maybe it's Dan Quayle?
I think it's a potato, like the Hobbits. Potato,
second breakfast.
Put them in a mash. Put them in a stew. Put them in your ass. Whatever it is.
Oh, great. Now we're to ass potatoes. And then Aaron Sarkissian. Thank you, Aaron Sarkissian. Yes. And I didn't want to elevate any of these people above any others, but this dude, Omar.
Oh my God.
This dude, Omar, came in strong. And so I'm sorry, I will elevate him up, because we had just turned this buymeacoffee.com, which is really, we made it say buy me a beer. And Omar came in red hot, guns loaded.
Yeah, with a really generous donation that really helps us out.
And quite honestly, it was more beer than I could even drink.
That's right. You're going to have to take it the other direction.
Yeah, it'll get you drunk faster that way.
Get you drunk faster.
Butt chugging.
Butt chugging. Is that the name of the episode? Butt chugging?
Butt chugging. Omar provides reef beef with butt chugging.
Yeah. So just to wrap up the two things we've already started talking about, I'm very excited that people are thinking about the social questions that we've been talking about in regards to reef keeping, because I think they're important. And we're going to have some guests on about that in the future, in the near future. And I'm thrilled that we got all these people reached out to buy us a beer and to support us. That makes me feel like we should keep doing the show. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I would say. It gives us the impetus to keep pushing.
Yeah. And you're just kind of like from a John Oliver blank void, your background. Because I keep putting stuff in the background, hoping people will ask about it. But maybe they will this week, because it's just, what is that, a bath mat or a towel?
It's like a blanket.
It's just a white blanket because you're.
Wait, my son just entered the room and he's asking a question.
Does he want to be on camera?
Hey, come here, buddy.
Hey, Grant.
Come here.
Grant.
He's moving like molasses.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, my rib is totally healed.
Did you kick Ben's rib?
Did you kick Daddy's rib?
No.
No?
Now he's lying. Now he's surely going to hell.
Well, he is your son.
Yeah. We'll all be there together.
Or although he may be my son. You're raising my children.
Did you ever tell me which one of my children is yours?
You really don't know?
It's like Russian roulette.
None of your children are yours.
Wait a minute. This feels like a Maury Povich moment.
Even your old wife? Me. All me.
All you.
Yeah, that
I never married her, bro.
Whatever.
She like
I did in your name. Yeah. So,
questions and answers.
So we were thinking, normally we have like 3 segments that we try to cover, but I asked this morning on Humblefish Forum, where there's a nice support for us. It's pretty great. They love our podcast, or they say they do. It's very nice. I said, what do you guys want us to talk about? And there's a whole bunch of questions. So I thought maybe let's try a different format and see what they say.
And I kind of feel bad because like I always repeat, like I don't really do forums. Then you show me stuff and like it makes me feel like I should be on there, but I can't juggle too many things, man.
Dude, I am so torn about forums right now.
Like this will be fun because I haven't seen any of these at all.
But I'm with you. I think a lot of forums I just can't even take. But if I'm invoked or the conversation is interesting, that's something else. But I can't just. I don't know how many times I don't feel the need to answer.
You're like the reef world's moral genie. That's another title.
The moral genie. But
world's moral genie. You just rub the lamp and then Richard shows up. He's like, Richard, is this a good way to be or not? Like,
yes.
The lamp says no.
Yes. You know what I don't want to do? I don't want to argue about why putting a magic thing in a bottle to take care of cyano is a good or a bad idea. That's what I don't want to do. And so much of forums is exactly that. And I just
like hashing over stupid crap
that we kind of know already.
Soul sucking.
You know, but there's a need for that. And I did that for a long time, since like 92 or something like that. I was doing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you remember being in a retail location, like you answer the same thing over and over again. Without being corny, I kind of learned to like it because I liked when, not everyone that walked up to me and like, oh, I'd like a saltwater aquarium. Can you teach me about it? You know, boom, all of a sudden we start this relationship. You come into my store and we're always talking about it. But not everyone that I ever talked to, some people just have different wavelengths and not everyone got it. But when I helped someone and they were like intensely like absorbing what I was putting down, man, I loved that.
Well, I agree. And I do think there's a fundamental difference between it being your job at a store and being a member of a reef forum.
For sure.
Matt Wandell, when he was on and all the time says, reef forums, he doesn't really care for them because it's a job. You're doing work for other people for free.
Yeah, it's true.
And so that's got some truth to it, especially if it becomes like work. So I'm trying to make those forums now. I'm trying to love that part of the hobby again. So I'm putting my toes in, but I don't want to fight with anybody online anymore about, whatever. If they come, if, somebody the other day said, well, if 5 people, I got 5 people telling me one thing and then you're telling me something different. I'm like, well, you should just do what the 5 people tell you.
The part that was interesting in I would say more the very early 2000s versus the 90s when I started. But the 2000s. But so, someone would come in and you start advising them and you would start giving them advice, in a store. And then they're like, oh, well, I saw this on a forum. It just feels weird and you can't be unprofessional, but it's like fucking pick a lane. I mean, not really, because you should get information from anywhere that you can get it. But to be honest, like it's how I live my life too. It's not all the information. You have to learn what sort of filter to build to filter that information. It's not, that everything that everyone tells you on a forum and in this store and that store, and then this guy's uncle told you how to keep a reef and just all of it's valid.
Yeah.
But, and that's why I always like, show me your work. Show me your, what's your work. Let me see what's your reef tank.
Yeah.
And I hate to boil it down to that, but Jesus Christ, you're sitting here, give me advice and your stuff looks like turds in a bowl. Like I can disregard all of it. Or it's
I wrote an article about this, about communication on forums. We'll link it down. I haven't read it in a while. It'd be interesting to see if it still holds up. But exactly that. It's like, why do you trust this person? Why do you not trust that person? Are you trusting people who are telling you what you want to hear? And, and how to write your question so you can get answered in a way that's helpful to you.
For sure. This gets weird because this gets into the messiness of humanity.
Oh, sure.
So whatever people's vibes and characters and all that are, you get some weirdos now and then.
I am so interested in that part of the hobby right now, more than, what kind of rock should I put in my tank? I'm way more interested in the people involved in the hobby.
Okay.
I'm just fascinated by them and how it works. And I love it. So that's why I'm dipping my feet back into the forums to kind of see what's going on.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So you
and I have been doing this so long. It is weird because different generations of people kind of come up. I used to be, I don't think there's a general age, but generally I used to be like the kid at the store talking to people and they're like, wow, you know what you're talking about. Now I'm kind of becoming a little bit of the older man. I'm usually older than my clients now.
Yeah. And you're going, I don't think you should do that. And remember when you were the kid, you were like, that guy's just grumpy and old.
Yeah. It was broken
It's like, how do you run the line between those two things, right? Because I don't want to tell anybody what to do, but at the same time, it's like, oh, you're doing that thing that we tried 10 years ago that doesn't work. Have fun.
Man, I get that all the time because especially when you're a salesman and what you're trying to do is eventually send these people out the door with something that will work for them. But so when someone brings up a method, so I looked online and I was going to do this deep sand bed method and this and that, and you're listening to it, and it kind of deflates you a little bit because all of a sudden I had to assume the role, I'm popping your balloon of all this shit that you thought was going to work. And I'm about to shit all over it, but I need to do it professionally and politely in a way that doesn't deflate you because I'm like, dude, don't do that.
You know what I'm scared might make a comeback? Plenums.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
When I was the 4,000 gallon reefs at the zoo, they had Jobert plenums in them, which that was the original guy, the aquarium of the Monaco.
Monaco.
Jobert, Jean Jobert, Dr. Jean Jobert.
Jean Valjean Jobert.
Let's just butcher the hell out of his name.
No, I was doing a Le Miserable reference.
Oh, okay. No, the weird thing is, I will say one thing for the forums is it kind of, I think to a certain degree, it brings you on the cutting edge of what people are talking about.
Yeah, but it also keeps you in the dumpster of what people are talking about.
True.
And that's what you were talking about. How do you know what's trash and what's the cutting edge? Right?
Yeah.
It's
like
a weird...
like just then that you said plenums might be making a comeback. That's something I have not heard.
Yeah. Well, some people are talking about plenums again online, and I'm kind of going,
Jesus, why?
We know that plenums are, they just kind of are there.
Yeah, but do you remember? It's just one of those things where, like, if you do it just right, it can do it for a little bit, and then you did something not just right, and it runs off the rails. Like, right. Why would we do that again?
Well, the plenum doesn't add anything.
And it's trying to do something the hard way.
You've just got a void space under there because
it was supposed to be an anoxic or anaerobic layer. But I mean, supposedly our live rock does that.
It just happens in the sand anyway.
Yeah.
So they're just
really, when I started getting into this in 95, I remember because I was just sucking up all the literature around me. And at that time was an end of an era, was the Albert Teal era. The Albert Teal era was coming to an end. Yeah. But I remember basically what it was overly complicated.
Exactly.
And the new era that was coming in was the Julian Sprung, the Delbeek book.
Yeah.
And the Svein Fawcett, Alf Jacob Nielsen, those two books.
Yeah.
And they were kind of knocking down that shit got overly complicated with Teal stuff and was kind of back to basics again. Almost like flirting with that. What's that? Li Ching-ing? Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Singapore. There was like a very simple method, and it was just kind of simplifying. Because I mean, after the Teal, all that Teal stuff, like how much more complicated can you get?
I signed up for his webpage.
Are you serious?
And I never got anything. They just took my money, and that was the end of that.
Really?
I never got access to it. No one ever would return my emails. They just took my money. I got an interesting thing to say about the different, the older people and newer people and how that moves. I used to be really like people when I was writing articles a lot. They were like, write me an article about herbivores. I was like, there's 500 articles about herbivores. You don't need another article about herbivores. I'm kind of wrong about that. Every kind of so often, somebody needs to redigest the information and say it with a new voice.
Yeah. Maybe the way you say it can be assimilated, but maybe you say it better. Might I say that I kind of feel like even with Julian Sprung Delbeek book, it's not like they made up a lot of that content. It was just kind of rehashing it. What's that saying that we stand on the shoulders of giants?
Yeah.
So like what you and I are talking about on this podcast, we didn't pull it out of the ether. We just regurgitating some things we've learned over 20, 30 years.
Yeah, but it's not just regurgitating, I think. It's different. You and I attacked this in the same kind of way, which was there's information about this I can read. Give me everything.
Yeah.
And just like everything all the time. So it's up in here. And then marinate that in experience. And then you poop out something useful.
It's funny though, what you said earlier, and I want to hit on that, what you said earlier about kind of rehashing info. That has been my whole career when paper magazines were like, it would be an article like, explain biological filtration. I was already 15-year veteran at that point. I would read it because also too, info was changing too.
Right.
And just, so my thought process since I devoted my life to this was always been, I'm a professional. This is kind of like continuing study. Beat the shit into your brain. And with the martial arts thing, the 10,000 or the Japanese thing, 10,000 repetitions.
Yeah.
Repetitions.
Yeah.
Because then when I go to the sales floor and someone's like, what's biological filtration? Bam. And then the people are like, holy shit, let's buy something from this guy who knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. Remember those like aquarium pharmaceutical handouts they made? Do you remember those?
Yeah.
I remember.
C-scope? Do you remember C-scope?
Yeah. But these were just like biological filtration explained, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I remember reading those and going, great, now I understand that. And then being able to tell customers that, and customers going, how do you know all that? I was like, it's in this fucking pamphlet that you've had for a year that you never read. Just read we gave this to you a year ago when you set up the tank. Just read it. And then I did that once, and then I was just like, oh, because I'm a genius.
Yeah.
I'm the moral center of this hobby in 20 years.
If you do this for a living, I mean, it's a high bar, but I mean, look at doctors and stuff like that. Engineers, they have to do this too. If you do this for a living, you got to bone up all the time to keep your shit current and as sharp as possible. That's one complaint that I had working in so many different stores is you'd get that coworker that again, we were making jokes about some dude that also devoted his life to this, but didn't quite have the passion, but he's still here because he doesn't know what else to do. There's some like broken dude that sleeps on his parents' couch. Yeah, I've worked with tons of people like that. But you know, he's parroting. Worked with. Yeah. With. But
you.
Dude, you're derailing my train. My train is so fragile.
I derailed your train.
It's easy. It's very easy. Don't get.
You were talking about dudes who sleep on a couch. That's what you were talking about.
Really? That's another title for the
I think it was that you couldn't trust them.
Oh, no. I'm just saying you walk into a store and you're like, oh, I'm going to talk to an expert. And you talk to this dude that's parroting something from 30 years ago that's completely wrong. Meanwhile, someone like me was usually trying to devour any and every kind of information and then filtering it. That's old information. Oh, is that new? Can I verify that? What's up with that? Ask other people, he said it's, it's not nitrosomonas and nitrobacter. It's nitrospira. Is that the new thing? Trying to bone up and stay current, stay sharp, all that.
It's very cool stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to do.
If you're obsessed and passionate about it.
And I think, we've talked about this a bunch, the idea of having an evolving philosophy of your methodology.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm still experimenting with like lanthanum and phosphate and stuff. It's like, I want to know that my methodology is actually useful. It's really dumb because I could screw my whole systems completely, but it's like, I want to know. The hobby's all about me, right? And for you, it's all about you. And I want to know if I'm right or wrong.
Well,
or if it makes no difference.
But also things evolve. So I was an early adopter of refugiums. This was the very early 2000s. So this was Lang's size ecosystem, where when he first came out of that, and it wasn't even Chitomorpha yet, Cheetomorpha, however you want to say it. It was Caulerpa, like Racemosa, preferably Prolifera. The bladed one was a little better.
Racemosa, it's prolific.
It's prolific. Well, also Racemosa would go like sexual and collapse. And dump all the nutrients, where Prolifera didn't do that.
Just like me.
In the beginning with Lang's size method, the ecosystem with the miracle mud and all that. And then it was, I can say this very much, hindsight's 2020, because during those times they're like, get rid of your skimmer. You don't need a skimmer anymore. But what's funny is you fast forward, I don't know, 5-6 years, ecosystem was still at it, but they were starting to introduce little skimmers because I was like, But
you know what? But say whatever you want about that guy, because he owes me $1,200 for 2 articles I wrote and he published and never paid.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So say whatever you want. You owe me $1,200. Those articles were awesome. Remember Reef Life magazine?
Yeah.
That was awesome for a year until they killed it. I don't know.
Until they killed it by owing someone $1,200.
Yeah, that's what killed them.
No, but anyway. So what I was getting at is like, I moved away from refugiums, and I'll be 100% honest with you. I'm just not a big refugium fan, but I have been watching, I watch this bulk reef supply videos a lot. I have in the past. And I let me extend a hand to bulk reef supply to say thank you. They are part of my little puzzle where, I keep evolving. They put out very good videos. But anyways, they made videos about the Kessel light with the red and the blue and the photosynthesis A and B, the chlorophyll A and B and all that. And I do see to where I used to think that refugiums were a big waste of space, and that they have evolved and they are more effective. And that with the new, because we used to, remember back in the days, we used to put bullshit lights above.
Well, it depends on what you want. Refugiums to me has always been like, what is it for? I mean, that's almost always my first question. So is your refugium an actual refugium, right? That was the original idea, was that it was a refuge for life that would eventually make it into the main tank, right? And then it became an algae farm.
Yeah.
So
to me, it ended almost like a settling chamber where they get filled with detritus. But,
yeah.
you know, again, the thing evolves. Maybe we were kind of doing it wrong.
So it's even better. There's no wrong. It's just, what's the concept? So if you want a place where little critters have a place to breed and expand so they end up in your main tank, you don't need a refugium tank to do that. There are other ways you could do that. You know, is your overflow a refugium? Is your sump a refugium? You know, do you have piles of rock that your fish can't get into? That's a pretty good refuge too.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, do you want to grow algae to help export nutrients, if that really works, and on what scale? Then you set it up for that. So it's the idea of you need a refugium is the wrong thing to say. What are you trying to accomplish? And then you can figure out what's the piece of kit that you can build or make or buy that will help you accomplish that. Does that make sense?
It does. I would think generally people, I mean, I would think the whole concept of refugiums is mostly uptake of nitrate and phosphate. You know, but then you don't, then you got to sit and try to quantify if it's doing that or not.
Yeah. And we shouldn't call that a refugium because that's not what a refugium is. That's an algae filter.
Dude, so, let me impress reefers that are even older than me.
Oh,
when I started
show them how you can walk without a walker.
Yeah, with my penis. You know, I had what line? I had to cross the line. No, when I started working at the zoo, they had all these old ass books, and I have a bunch of old ass books as well. But I realized, I believe that the first person, I don't know if he coined the name refugium, but the first like mentions in a book of that was Dr. Stephen Spott.
Spott.
Spotte. But yeah, he had a book from like 1978 where he was detailing lights with algae, you know, near your frame. But the way he had it back then, which makes more sense for capturing pods, is it would be above the tank and it would gravity spill. Yeah,
I remember that
instead
book.
Of going through a pump.
I remember that book. That was the first one I did because that would be easier for the little life to get through unmolested.
Yeah.
Totally made sense.
Morrison said to break on through to the other side.
He did. And then he died.
Hey, you know what we're not doing?
He grew up in Alameda. There's a bench at a park by my house, the Jim Morrison bench.
Oh, yeah. Oh, him. I thought you were talking about Stephen Spott.
No, he was not in the doors. He
Where
was a
did
reef
he grow
guy.
Up?
He never grew up. He
didn't get laid that much.
He appeared fully formed from the head of Zeus.
Really? And then Kronos tried to eat him?
Yeah, Kronos tried to eat everyone. Kronos was kind of a jerk. Yeah,
for sure. Total dick. Hey, Rich.
Yes, Ben?
While you're taking crap off your floor, let's talk about the sponsor.
The sponsor, saltwateraquarium.com?
Yes, saltwateraquarium.com.
They are a huge place where you can go to get all your saltwater equipment needs from one location, and they'll send it to your house.
That's what they do. You know what? And they don't have like a minimum, like they have free shipping.
For what if I just bought, the smallest package of food they have?
Then you're a loser, but they'll ship it to you for free.
Oh, free and a loser? Sign me up.
But you know what? I know you're a free loser, but what if you're a healthcare worker?
What if I was, then you'd be sick.
No, not necessarily. No, but they give discounts to healthcare workers. And
forever.
Veterans. Yeah.
Veterans and healthcare workers get a discount. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. What else do they do, Ben?
Maybe they know how to juggle.
Maybe.
No, sometimes they're great. They have.
Sometimes they draw.
What's that?
Sometimes.
Let's just talk at the same time the whole time. Saltwateraquarium.com will love that they're paying for this.
Yeah, I'm guessing Snowman will edit some of this.
Probably.
Maybe not though. Maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes they draw cool stuff on your packaging.
No, they do. But also too, they have like one of those frequent buyer programs. I believe it's 5%.
Oh yeah. So if you buy stuff through them over time, you get credits to use for more stuff.
Yeah. They have
That's
they
cool.
have a lot of articles. They have a lot of content on there. I've written some of the articles.
Yeah. And they're nice people.
They are. Do you think that anyone that works there is not nice?
All the people that I have met who work there seem very nice.
The owner is super nice.
Super nice. And they got stuff. I bought just recently, I ordered like 80 pounds of Stacks. You know that Stacks rock from Two Little Fishies? Because I want to do some stuff back here. And they sent it to me and it's sitting over in the other room. I got to get to it. I think it's cool. I use them. Yeah. I like them. They're one of my go-to stores.
I've ordered many a thing from them.
Many a thing.
It's been a little while, but I'm quite certain you can open a wholesale account with them.
Sweet. I like them. I use them. Do you use them before they even sponsored us?
I do, certainly.
Yeah, me too. So go check them out. I think we have a link below here that you can click.
Yep.
That will take you to there. Tell them Reef Beef sent you. That helps us out. And get some stuff. You need some stuff. You always need stuff. So go to saltwateraquarium.com and get your stuff.
Support our sponsors, please.
Please.
Hey, you know what we're not doing?
Anything we said we would be doing?
Exactly. But that's us.
Okay, question time. Let's do questions, should we? All right, so I said, let's see. Lexinverts wants to know about our approach to keeping SPS. Curious if Ben keeps any in clients' tanks, considering he only makes there once a week or so, to check parameters. And I said, can you tell me a little more about what you mean approach? And Lexinverts said, you've got lots of nice acros in your display tank, but you're not chasing numbers. But you're not chasing the latest new coral. But some of these corals are hard to keep. Is your approach to keeping the harder to keep? Do you avoid them? Do you have a strategy for keeping them? What challenging corals have you had long-term success with? And do you try harder to keep corals on clients' tanks?
Okay, so the approach to SPS, that's a very complicated answer. And so I'll gloss over that. Yes, when you have a maintenance client, yes, let me say that. I mean, that's 5 hours right there. You better buy us a whole
so I'll say nothing about it and move on to the next thing.
Well, no, it's just if I started on it, we wouldn't be. Yeah, if I started on it, we wouldn't be finished for 5 hours. I mean, we can go into it later, but yes, from a maintenance client standpoint, okay, unvarnished opinion here. Why the fuck would you put overly expensive, hard to keep anythings in there unless your client has signed something with you just saying that basically my job is to bring it there and whatever the hell happens to it. But I'm here to tell you that's next to no clients. Generally, my clientele are not hobbyists. They know, some of them I've even convinced from meeting them at a home building trade show that they need an aquarium.
So you're trying to do stuff that looks nice and is going to do well.
Yeah, but it's funny because I take my own personal, over all these many years I've been doing it, let's see if I could get away with this. And just having that experience of oh yeah, I could do green bally slimer, with a blindfold on, but could I get away with a blue Oregon tort, and just finding and man, that's what I find from having set up so many reef systems in my life is so hard to quantify. And all professionals will tell you this. It's like someone thinks that we could just make cookie cutter tanks. It doesn't work that way. For God knows what reason, this tank does well with Stylophora, and I set another one up just like it. Can't keep Stylophora alive at all. It's just weird and hard to put your finger on. Yeah. So you do a little personal thing where you see, and certainly, I would say my top VIP level clients are the ones that I screw around with SPS in. And then I have a very low with nothing but softies, which is, I talk to people about their budgets and I make that decision based on their budget. And if the budget is not high, we're going to have fun all day long with the softie tank. They're going to freaking love it and they have no clue. Then I get like I would say my top level client right now owns an oil company, a land-based oil drilling company, pays me once a week to be able to, pays me once a month about the cost of payments on a Ferrari to go clean his tank. All day long, we do crazy stuff. I'm part A and B dosing, but also doing caulk wash on that tank. At some point, maybe we would switch to calcium reactor, but you don't want to make it. You're not trying to make your job too difficult.
Right.
So if I'm doing this at home, it's my own little mad experiment to try to see what I can get away with. But when you're not there, but once a week, like, what are you trying to do? Make your, because let's be honest too, when you slip into my shoes, you're doing this for a living. You bring someone a bunch of expensive stuff, they die, you look like a fool.
Sure. And you already look like a fool.
So I'm already starting at the bottom.
Yeah, you don't
want to
bottom
of that hill like Sisyphus with that rock.
So my tanks are different. My tanks are my tanks, and I can do whatever I want with them. So they're essentially my own little lab to dick around with stuff as much as I want to. So I get very clear with myself when I change something that I'm risking everything.
Well, no one's going to get mad at you.
No one's going to get mad at me except for me, right? And truthfully, what I found is that no matter what, it's going to change in a way you don't understand anyway, and things are going to get goofy, and you're not going to know what made it get goofy. So, right. So I'm having a little bit of a problem now with some of my corals. Because recently I changed my lights, and I can't talk about that. And recently I dropped it's all just T12 kitchen fluorescence now. But I also because I am lazy, my phosphate went back up again, and then I started dosing again because I just like missed for a month that the lanthanum ran out. Yeah. So what I'm seeing could be an effect of the phosphate dropping again, or it could be, and this is what used to make me crazy. There was some RTN in my tank, and it's like, every spring I used to get RTN. We used to talk about this all the time. What the hell is causing this in the spring? No clue. Nothing. Who cares? I don't know. I don't even know how we would begin to figure it out. Yeah. Because like for years, I was like, it's up and running. It's December. I'm not doing anything different. We're going to keep it like this. And then there would be RTN, or there wouldn't be RTN. And it was like, I don't know. So it's spring again. I had a little bit of some RTN. I don't know what it is. I changed the flow as well. So I started putting more flow through that main jet. And I think I reached capacity for the amount of flow that should be in that main jet, and was actually hurting corals at the, that were getting that reflective flow. So that could be it. Could be that my DI was exhausted. It could be that, it could be anything. I don't know. So I just try to keep it stable. So what does that mean with SPS? Because that was the question. Yeah. Mostly, I don't pay any attention to named corals at all. I don't care.
Dude, I care. Again, unvarnished opinion too. It's just, I'm sorry, segment of the reef keeping world that's on that. And man, more power to you. Hats off to you. It just feels like a fool. I don't know if fool's errand is the right way to say it. It's just like chasing $1,200 corals. I can't do that. So maybe that's why I have a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah. I just don't care if they have a name or not. I care if I like the coral.
I never was one to wear like name brand clothes either. So
the tanks for me. So I want stuff that I like the look of. I'm not all excited about the new coral because I don't care. Unless I like that coral.
This would to address people that are maybe newer into the hobby or whatever, and what drew you in the hobby is you saw green star polyps swaying around in the water. You want to keep that, and then some other hobbyist is shitting on you. You know what? Fuck them. Yeah. Fuck them. Look at what you like.
I'm growing a carpet of green star polyps because I like it.
Here's my mini beef inside the show.
Okay. And then I'll actually answer the question that we were talking about.
And yeah, exactly. An older reefer telling a new reefer what the fuck coral or fish they should be paying attention to.
Get the stuff you like.
For sure.
Except a 6-line wrasse. Don't get a 6-line
yeah,
wrasse.
fuck those things.
What the fuck are you doing getting a 6-line wrasse? It's a
no. Buy a carpet anemone that will eat your 6-line wrasse.
Just don't do either of those things.
All right, next question.
I wanted to say my approach to putting SPS in my tanks is to try to only get cultured stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
If the tank is banging on and everything's doing well, and I see something wild caught that catches my eye, I'll get it and see how it does. Otherwise, if I'm experimenting with something, I want to do it the lowest impact way possible. So I recently got a frag of Walt Disney Acro. Guess who gave it to me?
Walt Disney himself. He came out of the cryo chamber.
Friggin' Omar.
Wait, what?
Omar.
Is Omar maybe is he stalking us?
He's Santa Claus who's stalking us.
Wait a minute. What if Omar got you that boulder, the Jesus boulder?
He may have. Omar is super cool. You're
going to have flowers sent to your house?
Omar was giving away corals to locals and arranged somebody to go down and pick them all up and bring them and drop them off on his way. And it's very cool. Omar's super great. So I got a frag of this coral. We'll see how it does. And that feels okay to me because it's a fragment that was grown out in captivity. I'm not hurting anything if it doesn't make it, and we'll see how it does. It's doing very well right now. So
yeah.
So that's kind of my approach to it. I just don't chase stuff, and I'll keep trying stuff if I can get a frag of it.
You know what you should chase?
Your
the
old
next
wife.
Fucking question.
What is this question? God damn it! This is from friggin' Omar.
Dude, I told you he's stalking us.
Talk about some of your background, even if it's not traditional aquarium.
Jesus Christ.
Or managing large scale aquariums versus home aquariums. That's pretty fun stuff.
That's more you. Well, me a little bit.
I did some larger stuff, but I also did a mega tank, which was.
We could really do a whole damn show about that, though.
You know what? Though I'll tell you briefly here, and this is actually something Matt Wandell used to talk about, and I love it. It's the best explanation of the difference. On your home tank, when you want a new pump, and you go, oh, okay, I want to try a new pump, and you go out and you buy it and you put it in your tank. God. That is not what you get to do on a public aquarium tank.
I could do a whole show on this because this was I could. As a matter of fact, our next show we could do a whole thing on this because I did the same thing with the 4,000 gallon reef tank that I was in charge of. It's like procuring anything is like a nightmare.
Yeah, and I get it, right? Every new person who comes in and gets a new system, they go, we got to tear all this out. This is crap. And the institution says, no, you don't get to tear it all out. It's not crap. The last guy said this was state of the art. You're going
to keep these 1,000-watt ventures and you're going to like it.
Right. And you're going to make it work.
Yes.
But at the same time, I also get it, like if you're talking like a 200,000 gallon tank, God. And you want more flow in that tank, that's,
$100,000 later.
Yeah. It's a bunch of money and a bunch of engineering, and it's just a whole process. So it's just a different beast. But, if you're at an institution, sometimes you get lucky and you go, I just need $40 for this little pump for this tank. It'll make it better. And they'll often go, sure. But you still have to jump through hoops and convince them.
Yeah.
So that I think is the main difference.
Our thing too, when I was at the Houston Zoo is buying animals was a nightmare too, because I would have to fill out, what I wanted. And then we would have to submit it to the vet clinic, our on-site vet clinic, and they would have to okay that. Then they would send that to admin for the money for it. Then I would get it okayed back, and I'd call the company and they're like, dude, we sold all that stuff a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nowadays, there's companies that cater to that, though. Consistency in some other places.
Yeah. I would call them up and go, can you hold it for 3 days? till I
Nope.
get approval. And then I felt bad about that. So I stopped doing it. I was like,
Yeah.
nah.
I'm impressed you got 3 days for your approval. Mine was like a week.
There was a while, I think that, and I would say, just, can I have just like a contingency fund? Because we can't get this stuff that
To
you guys
make
say you
moves
want.
quickly.
Yeah, you want it on display. So do you trust me or not trust me? Just give me some little budget that I can, and a pre-approval, so I can just get stuff quickly.
These are these details that people might not think about. They're the reasons why when you go to a zoo or a public aquarium, you might look at it as a reef aquarist and go, well, that thing sucks. These people suck. But you don't know what's going on the other side of the wall. Yeah, it's a rough story. It's
an important thing. Oh, I want to point out, I am using a straw, but I've been using the same straw for all of COVID lockdown.
Oh my God. You are going to get exoriated.
I don't wash it. And sometimes I just leave it on the floor with the cat.
Wait, I have a question and answer. What's that damn bowl right there that says racist?
It's a racist bowl. Would you,
son of a bitch.
Would you not want to know if your bowl was racist or not?
But you know what I can respect about that bowl? I don't like that it's racist, but it owns it.
Yeah. Well, now you know, if you go and use that bowl, there's some racism going on with it.
For sure. I mean, if you know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a racist vase somewhere too.
God.
So yeah,
these kids these days, I can't believe it.
I hate in art, which is something I do sometimes. I hate when there's text in art. I hate it.
Oh, okay.
I hate it because it feels so cheap to me. I also hate artist statements. I think the viewer, if the viewer looks at the work and can't get a feel for what you meant out of the work, then you've done something wrong, right?
Is that like explaining a joke?
Exactly. Yes, very much so. I don't mind a title to nudge people in the right direction. So this is one of my plays on that.
Is that like anti-art?
It's anti-art. It's also really hard that's glass on glass. It's really hard.
Oh, great.
Oh, my straw. It's actually, this is really hard to do. So it's
anti-art. That's art.
Exactly.
Everything is full circle.
Everything is art, Ben.
It is.
Everything is art.
Let's get to that next question.
Okay. The next question, Don wants to know about photoperiod and the value of moon phase simulation.
The moon phase simulation is going to be down your alley. I'd say photoperiod. I would say, from everything I've always been told, I'll just shoot from the hip and say, I think about 6 to 8 hours, maybe 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours of really strong light. But, maybe a total of 10 hours in total, 8 to 10 hours in total of it. You having a pretty healthy ramp up and ramp down on the other side. Yeah. But you don't need really strong light for 10 or 12 hours.
Yeah, that sounds right. I run mine, if the spawning systems are on their own thing, right? So they're doing their own thing. The photo period's critical, or at least we think it is. We're pretty sure it is. The lunar phases are critical. So that's different. That's breeding or spawning. Those things can have a really big difference. For my own personal tanks, the other tanks in this room or in the other room, I want the lights on when I'm going to be awake. So sometimes I'm up early. So I have a ramp up that starts at about 6:30, right? Just really low. That's on for 2 or 3 hours. So I can see what's going on in the tank. And then it kicks up into a regular 8, 10, 12 hour photo period with a ramp up and a ramp down and a plateau in the middle where it stays on. And then it goes down really slowly till like midnight, because sometimes I'm up late. But it's already in the blue phase by then, right? So
moon phases mean fuck all for hobbyists.
Yeah, they're neat. But if you have a controller, you can set up a moon phase, but
you have actually tackled, just like Jamie Craggs, am I saying his name correct?
Sure.
Have also tackled and dabbled with making coral spawn. Does the moon phase come into play with that?
Critical. It's critical.
Critical.
Yeah, the moon phase, the solar phase, the heat phase. Those seem to be incredibly critical for the triggers, both for gametogenesis, developing the gametes, and for the spawning. So, as far as we know, you got to do that stuff, and controllers make that possible. So, but otherwise, you know, for the health of the corals, they don't seem to care so much. You know, set up your photo period, so when you're looking at the tank, you see what you want to see. I used to love when it looked like moonlight in my tank. So, you know, from 10 to midnight, it would be moonlighty. And it's this cool, moody thing that I would look at night. That's totally.
And would you say that doesn't, I mean, I don't do that for my clients because it's not necessary. Yeah. But like it neither harms nor helps them if you do that. It just gives it that cool eerie look that you can look into.
unless those phases, unless those schedules are changing like they do in nature and do some kind of naturalistic arc, they're not doing much at all. They're not triggering anything. And it depends on your device, but I mean, I'm talking about like 5% or. Well, the moonlight, it looks like the moonlight at light at very low levels has an effect on corals.
I would hate to see someone like running their actinics at like 20-30%, like 24/7.
Oh no, they need to be dark.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think we've explored that enough.
Yes.
Phatduckk. I love Phatduckk.
Oh, you know what? One of these people that donated us beers.
Was Phatduckk.
Was that Samantha Nasrati?
I don't know. I just know the screen name.
AKA Phatduckk.
Phatduckk is local to me in the Bay Area, and it seems like a cool dude, and I can't wait to meet him once COVID is done and we can meet people again. Just by talking to him online, he makes jokes that tickle me, and he asks questions in a way that make me go, oh, I like your brains. And he bought us a beer.
These are all good things.
This is great. You're going to love this. I want to know why corals die so I can prevent it. There's a bunch of mixed messages like keep your nitrate at 3 versus Sandra's nitrate is 832.
Yeah.
Selfishly, I specifically want to know how, why, what causes SPS tissue loss so I can stop wasting my money and killing pretty things.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, kind of a serious.
Let's Rochambeau for who takes the first crack at this.
No, dude. Did we seriously both do scissors?
We did.
You know, because there was a split second there. You saw my paper.
Oh, okay.
1, 2, 3. We got to count. We got to count.
Is it on 3 or after 3?
At 3, the
1,
implement
2,
is
go.
exposed.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Jesus, dude, this is like dancing with the. Look, I'm an alligator.
I cut you. Oh, look at my farmer tan. Holy crap.
Wait, why do you have tan hands?
Can you see that?
You have tan hands. You have a reverse. I don't even know what's going on with you.
I do board sports, so I'm out on the water to keep my brain, and I wear a dry suit because it's cold now, or a wetsuit, and it comes to there.
That makes me think you're like on a beach, like tossing 2x4s around.
I bet you my face is tan too, but this isn't. So that's why that's really funny. It looks like I was dipping my hand in muriatic acid.
Yeah, as if.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of a jokey question, but kind of serious.
No. My answer is going to be corals suck at life. And we had no freaking idea what causes RTN. I chased RTN for a long time trying to figure out what it was. We talked about it before, the springtime thing. Is it African dust? Is it just the seasons? Is it something else? Is it, is there something in your makeup water that changes seasonally? Is it, and it's like, I don't know.
I mean, all the obvious things, great water motion, bright lights. Sometimes corals are fighting each other. Don't buy big, thick colonies because that has to change physiology to your tank. It's better to buy a little frag and let that make its own physiology to your parameters.
Or buy a big colony and break it all up.
Yeah.
And planted again together, so it's all getting.
If you buy a big thick coral, it is thick and it's that shape, you know, like a mother colony. It's that shape from what lighting, water motion, everything has been exerting itself on it. So then when you move that to your tank, if it doesn't quite meet that, that coral is like scrambling to change its physiology, break it up into little pieces and let them, and it probably won't look like, you know, that mother colony a year or two down the road when it has grown in, who knows?
Yeah, let it adapt to your conditions. A maricultured colony that's like this, I got no problem buying that and just dropping that in. I think that's going to do okay. But like thick corals like a ducksu, I think that's pronounced correctly. I've never actually heard that Posilopora or Posilopora ducksu. That just you need, the best place I've ever seen that on display is at Long Beach at the Aquarium of Pacific. They had some big colonies that grew from little pieces, and they had enough water flow to make it do that lobing thing it does, you know? But I've got a colony here and it just doesn't look anything like that. So I don't know, man. You know, what causes tissue loss? We don't know.
50 different things.
You might as well ask, you know, what can I do to keep my clams alive?
Or how can I not die?
Yeah. So, you know, all the stuff that people know, consistency, stability, not radical changes, those all help. But man, little corals especially, or even little frags, they can get weird and just run overnight and you don't know why. Remember Simon Garrett?
Yeah.
Simon Garrett became friends with me because in a talk he was at that I was giving, I said, hey, if one coral in your tank of 100 corals is going down, do not change everything to fix it for that one coral, because you end up
agree with him.
Everything else. And then he came up to me and said, thank you for saying that. People don't say that. Thank you. And then we became good friends.
Yeah. No, so, I 100% agree with that.
Okay. Is that enough? You want to say anything more about why corals suck at life?
Oh, no. Yeah. Just because we're recreating a delicate ecosystem and putting fragile animals in it that they suck at life, even in the ecosystem they're from. And, you know, it's tough. That's what we signed up for when we do this.
That's why I really like cultured corals.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. Let's see. Oh, Max wants to know, if you were setting up a new tank with a blank check, what's in it and how would you set it up?
With a blank check, what's in it? And how would you set it up? I would do full SPS. How would I set it up? It would just be all the crazy stuff. Planet aquarium tank, a biz pump, maybe a Geo, what's that company? Geo calcium reactor. Not Precision Marine. My Reef Creation sump. Blah blah blah, all custom. I mean, it would just be like if you came to me as a client and you're just Daddy Warbucks.
No, it's what do you want, Ben?
What do I
want?
Your
answer is lame.
You know,
do it again. Do it again. Not a lame answer.
What do I want?
What would make you be able to cut glass with your man potty parts?
I would take that blank check. I would take that blank check and I would go move onto an island and I would scuba dive and I'd leave reefs the fuck alone.
Damn, you're the worst at question and answer.
I know.
We can never do this again because of you.
Just because I'm giving you my fucking answer. You don't like my answer.
I don't like your answer because it's not an answer. You're like, ew, it's what clients want, or I'd go to an island.
Go back into your fucking cave. Come out in 3 days. Get back in your cave.
In your cave.
Go to your home.
I would do the same thing you would do.
Just if mine was a lame answer, yours is the John Wayne Gacy of answers.
We've already had the John Wayne Gacy of answers is what we're going to call this episode.
You can't invoke that twice. We're gonna kill that damn horse. It's already dead.
I can do whatever I want. I would do probably something between 500 and 1,000 gallons. It would be viewable from 3 sides, and it would probably be some kind of bommy in the middle of the tank, or maybe 2 bommies linked by an arch. The filtration would be whatever, the filtration's less exciting to me. The life support would be life support stuff. And did you just understand the damn question? Is that what just happened?
Not understand, but have a better answer.
Yeah, you just understood the question. You were like, Mom, Ben. And then, so it would be viewable probably from not 4 sides, but 3 sides. And it would also be viewable from the top. And
that'd be cool.
And it would spin the water one direction, it would spin the water the other direction, and then it would also be chaotic. Yeah. And basically be another version of my tank now, which would be SPS on the top, and then caves and NPS and LPS underneath. That's what I would do.
Those tanks that go in their drop down tanks? Yeah. It'd be cool to do it like a drop down and then come back up. Almost like a T with a short middle section. Yeah. That could be cool.
You know what I'd really like to do if it was a really blank check?
Really blank.
I would do a 50-foot long tank that would be at least 15 feet high. And it would start at the deepest part, which would actually be below the window.
Oh, non-photosynthetics?
Which would be like the end of the reef drop off.
Yeah.
And then it would come all the way up the reef slope to a fringing reef, all the way up to a sandy beach. And it would be, 10 feet wide, and would have like a wave maker, like for pools. And so it would get a crashing wave over it. That's what I would do.
Go off of yours, and on the beach section, I would have a pina colada machine and chicks in bikinis.
Yes.
And dude.
Yeah.
I would just live on the beach of your aquarium.
If I ever did a mega tank again, that's what I would want to do. I would want it to have
You would want to allow me to live on your beach?
I would. A real wave maker that makes crazy waves that crashes up to a beach. And I would have a mangrove section, so you could see how the mangroves would actually stop the erosion.
I would hide behind the mangroves drinking pina coladas, and I would be with bikini chicks.
And that's why all your children are really mine.
I didn't even make them.
Next question. Oh, what are the limits of automation? This is from Max as well. And what can be done from the couch? And do you have any automated customers that you see?
One, and I want to do a whole show about this because I'm not in love with automation. I said it. Now, I don't love it from a maintenance standpoint.
And your wife's not in love with you.
That's so close to true.
From a maintenance standpoint, you don't love it. It wouldn't help you out to have a camera on the tank and a camera on the sump, and
I'm gonna be judged by this, and I don't give a shit because my ego can take it. But this is, I get this too, talking to buddies of mine that do the same thing, but I also have lots of other buddies that say differently than this. But my rates are kind of expensive because I feel like I've earned it, and then I come to your place. But then I'm dicking with this and I'm dicking with that. And an hour later, I should have been dicking with the aquarium. You get the bill. It's so astronomically high, you're not even going to pay for it. And, business-wise, I don't find personally that most of my segment of clients fall into that. Now, does it mean that I don't have, $200,000 reef tanks? I mean, no, I don't have 200. I have a $50,000 reef tank that I care for. But I mean, because I see some big ballers like 10G and, they have it all over their stuff. Who's that guy, Brian Lincoln?
Yeah.
He's supposedly a wizard with it. Mark Callahan's a wizard with it. A lot of people are a wizard with it. Well, Mark doesn't do true like maintenance. And I don't believe like Brian does installation. But like when you're there, like that's what I don't like is that the dicking with the apex all day long. When I submit my bill to you, I'm not going to have a client.
Yeah. Well, I think I love it. I love, like with the coral spawning system at the Academy, I loved having cameras and having the apex there, because I could, if something was goofy on my weekend or at night, I could log in and I could see what was going on and go, oh, it's just this. Don't worry about it. I'll get it on Monday.
On that, it makes perfect sense. But do you understand, like on my point, like someone's paying you to mess with all that? On yours, it's a project.
I think, well, yeah. I mean, you have to be good at it already. And then you just build that into your fee. It's either that or you're going to charge them when you have to run out there on a Saturday night because it's an emergency. And then you walk in and you go, oh, you left this valve open when you fed.
For sure.
So I guess it can go either way. But I guess what's the limit? What can be done from your couch? I think the limit is trying to get the controller to do something you don't understand.
Okay, that's true.
I think that's a bad idea. Like I've said it a couple times on our show that, my Apex just turned off my metal halides when it got light, when it got too hot.
Yeah.
For a couple of years before I really started messing with it. So, it's what you're comfortable with, really.
What I think is pretty impressive, and if anyone is listening to this like out loud on their computer, like Siri, turn off my tank. Like I just fucked up a bunch of tanks.
Not Siri. Alexa, tell Apex to start feed mode.
Not right now. Everyone's trying to like pause the.
It's mine. Alexa, tell Apex to turn on feed mode A. That's it.
Is it doing it?
I don't have feed mode A set up on Alexa, but somebody does. That's funnier than shit.
Yeah. So there's people that, you could. I always thought that was cool because I saw a presentation where a guy, like a maintenance guy, it's doing it.
That's just playing random music.
Oh,
not random music. Something in what I said made it play some music.
You're like playing Miami Sound Machine.
Miami Sound Machine.
It's Miami Sound Machine. That's the title. You're gonna have way too many titles to pick from.
So there.
No, I was saying there was a thing where like I saw a presentation where a maintenance guy was like, because I did the same thing. Your hands are wet, whatever. You want to unplug something. You're like, Alexa, turn off main pump. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. But I mean, setting up all that crap. I mean, God.
Oh, dude, it's not. It's just because you don't use it. It's not.
I mean, if you're a straight up wizard, cool, go for it.
No, if you set up 2 of them and ran them for 6 months, you'd be like,
I've been running this one Apex for.
But you don't really
10 years.
I bet you don't really run it. I bet you just kind of minimally put up with it.
I had in the past, but Mark Callahan, we're real life friends, and in the past he helped me kind of move more control onto it because I was like, Mark, I'm just using this thing to turn lights on and off. It's like a very expensive timer.
Yeah,
and so we do more stuff,
which is a fine use for it, I think. Yeah. It's way better than having 10 dial timers clicking away.
Yeah.
Like we used.
Dude, I remember way back in the 90s when Neptune Apexes used, what were those things called? D10 or X10 modules?
X1 or X10. Yeah.
There was like that we would have like all these little things. I don't fully even understand what was going on then.
It was like those are kind of like Wi-Fi switches now.
Okay.
You plug something into that, and then something talks to that thing you've plugged it into, tells it.
Because it couldn't talk. Because they didn't have an EV8.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if that was Apex. Maybe it was.
Yeah, it was. I'll show you pictures of them.
Anyway,
it's back when it was. Are you yelling at me?
Yes. Shut up, Ben.
No, it's back when it was blue and orange, and it had the green screen and the push buttons with that plastic where you could feel it push in. Back in the day.
I'm just nodding my head. Sure.
90s Neptune Apex.
Sure.
Just get along to get along.
But that the digital aquatics thing?
No, it was Neptune Apex 90s.
Okay, great. I'm glad you were doing that.
Once you clean the fucking earwax out of your ears.
Will be. Damn, that's really aggressive.
I know. I had to let some steam out.
Okay.
I was really talking to your racist bull.
Okay, good, because that bull's a dick.
Yeah, fuck that bull.
But it sure can hold fruit.
Yeah.
I did not trust it for a long time, and then I started using it and got used to it, and I dig it. But I think that's the thing. People screw themselves with controllers by buying it before they know what's going on, and then they're just
here's what makes
double
me
lost.
sad. Here's what makes me sad, because I'm one of the people that where when you're a beginner hobbyist coming in and I'm like a goaltender, I help lead you from the beginning, this and that. I get people all the time. Am I supposed to have a Neptune Apex? And I'm like, right now? Do you know what an anemone is? No. Yeah, please get Neptune Apex out of your head for now.
Out of your head. Yeah, okay. Next question. Let's do 2 or 3 more and get done.
And give shorter answers.
Yeah, this is a question about Apex stuff. Neptune gets crap for having non-professional gear, but people are using it to spawn corals. That's just the same thing I think about skimmers. Remember Reef skimmers?
Oh, yeah.
Remember their claim to fame was that it was a cell cast acrylic, and that's why the ASM skimmers sucked, because they were just thin plastic.
But ASM came later and really copied their design.
Yeah,
and they were pissed about it.
But I mean, that's fine. But the selling point
I remember your argument about that, because I remember hearing you say, what are you going to kill someone with it? Like, is it holding your house up?
What are you doing with it? It sits in your friggin' sump. You just need it to hold water. You don't need to pay extra money to have cast cell acrylic.
Okay, for sure. I mean, but so I would tell you as a maintenance technician, like I do like robust stuff, because I go to someone's house, I'm cleaning it and pulling it out. And if I break it, then people are pissed at me. If it's cheap, then it breaks easily. It's a devil's advocate thing.
You know what? You drop an ASM and you drop a Euro Reef or an ASM, they're both going to break. The cast cell acrylic isn't magic.
It'll crack. Yeah,
it's not bulletproof.
In salt water for a long time.
It's just that one argument I don't buy. This is really strong. It sits in a tank.
Well, and maybe what he's alluding to, but and this is very now that Neptune came out with that grow light, and some people are happy and some people are just shitting all over it. But that is funny. When a company comes out with a new product, you love the company, but it's something you kind of didn't like it. You just go online, you just shit all over it. Okay, fair enough. But it's also like, Jesus Christ, let a company make some money.
Right.
As long as it works and it's good. Hey, if it doesn't, fuck them. But I mean, if it works.
Companies exist to make money. If they see, oh God, we could rebrand this thing and it would be easy and our customer base would like it, based on us knowing our customer base, and this is an easy way for us to make some money, can make the money. I'm all for it. I want these companies to stay in business.
There's so many things that are rebranded, it would piss you off. And so there's a little circulation pump that I like from AI.
Yeah.
But you know, it is a direct. What's that Chinese company we used to make fun of their pumps because they were like Jabo. So that is a damn Jabo pump, people. The AI pump, that little, I can't remember what it's called. It's that little pump with it almost looks like a boat propeller. And they have a teal propeller and a black housing. It's an AI pump. It's a damn Jabo pump. It's a rebadged, but it works. I have one. It's kick ass.
Yeah.
So what?
Who cares? All right. And there's a couple people wanted us
to get naked
to talk about, like products we don't like, or products that are bullshit. It's hard for us to do that because we're not testing these things. So, and mostly I think for me and Ben, if there's a product and it kind of smells fishy to us, we don't use it.
Well, and I'm not going to softball this question. Like, I'm still fucking punk rock. If a product's a piece of shit, however, what you're not going to get me doing is just shitting all over a company, but I don't know a whole lot. about the product. I'm not going to go down that route. And then they contact me and give me the right info behind it. It turns out I was wrong, just being an asshole.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stinky products out there.
Sure.
And I just had to be careful. Like I said, still punk rock, but I'm just not going to go shitting on everything and ended up looking like a fool.
I think there's a little follow-up from Rostato about,
Is that a character in Buckaroo Banzai?
No.
Rostato.
No, that's Reno. Reno's in Tibet. That's a line from the movie. Sorry.
John Big Booty.
This is more about people who say prove it for products. People, product comes in, makes a claim, and people say, how do you prove that? And then they go, fuck you, and kick you out of their group because you asked them to prove it. I do think prove it is the wrong thing to say. I think what you want to say is, what is your evidence to support this claim? We don't need scientific proof. We don't need to jump to that. We don't need to have a study. We don't need any of that. But when somebody says, hey, this product does this, and you go, what? What's the evidence they have? And they go, well, when I was hopped up on goofballs, Jesus talked to me. And you go, that's bad evidence. And Jesus never kept a reef tank. Come on.
He made them, Richard. No, so there's a product that's a liquid that's initials are RR, and it claims to like beat ick. And like I've used it before many times, and I haven't in years though. And it's just like, I mean, stuff like that's complete garbage. Yeah. I think it says it uses competing protozoans that outcompete the ick. And it's like I've used it in emergencies and clients when you're grasping at straws, and which is not a great time, but shit like that. Yeah.
Or they say we have scientific studies coming out. It's like, I can't. Then the response to that is, well, then I can't use your product until you show me the evidence for why it does the thing you said.
I don't like coming out
because that's just weasel words.
Where are they?
Someone from Equal Aqualizer would say.
Yeah, but that's putting the cart before the horse. Yeah, how long can you keep kicking that can down the road?
As long as you have.
Yeah. We got studies coming out.
Since 2003, apparently.
Like, show me the studies before your product hits the market.
Right. Don't make me be the freaking tester for your theory.
The guinea pig. Yeah.
For at least do a beta test where you give it to me for free.
Yeah.
When biopellets came out, a biopellet manufacturer sent me some and said, we would like it if you used it and told us what it did.
Jesus H. Christ.
And I was like, well, what evidence do you have for the claims you say that it does? And they went, and they never talked to me again.
And they said, whatever it is you say.
I'm not trying any random product on my tanks to tell you what it did for me. Ugh.
Yeah, no, that's weird.
Ugh.
That's weird.
Ugh. All right, we got one more, and then we got to be done.
Yes.
From SAF1. Dosing versus age of tank would be an interesting discussion. Wide coverage due to the derivatives of the tank versus old to control nutrients, balance things, brings up one down, manage elements, or even foods. You get a gist of that question?
Not at all.
You hippie?
Actually, it's a part of it. It sounded like you were stroking out.
You are so mean to me. I am the fucking moral center of the fucking hobby. You can't treat me like this.
You're like the Mother Teresa of the reefkeeping world.
That's the name of the episode.
The Mother Teresa of the reefkeeping world.
Of reefkeeping. How about that?
What did Mother Teresa do? She told people to be in pain because that was godliness.
She lied about everything and kept people suffering so people would give her more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. No, we just lost half the audience. Besides the Easter cave and Mother Teresa talk.
That would be so creepy if that cave opened without You should rig your daughter to like pull it with some fishing line.
Yeah. I'm doubting the cave will make another appearance in the podcast until next year.
Oh, let us know. Let us know if you like the cave.
Should we keep the cave?
Should we keep the cave?
Dosing versus age of tank. I don't know. It depends on what you're doing.
Decipher that for me.
I'm not quite sure. And I'm sure he'll tell me more about this. I think it's, I guess, do you need to dose more as the tank gets older?
Well, you need to follow the alkalinity consumption. So probably.
Yeah. I'm not sure what dosing is. I mean, I dose Acro Power and also BSI, Bob Stark's transition elements.
Transition elements, yeah.
Why do I dose those?
Because they're your friends.
Because they're my friends. No, yeah. And because what's in those products can't be hurting. If there is a lack of some of the stuff that's in those products in my water for whatever reason, my understanding, my philosophy is that those products will top those up. And if there's too much of those particular of those elements in the water, that won't be detrimental.
Supposedly that is like multivitamins for your body.
Exactly.
If it's extra and you're drinking a lot of water,
exactly.
You just piss it out. So worst case scenario, you're just wasting money.
Yes. And I usually argue against doing that kind of stuff, but sometimes I don't. I'm only human, even though I'm the moral fucking center of the hobby.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
When the tank was banging, when the tank has been all on,
balling out of control.
I was dosing those things. So go back to them again. Meh. It's not that expensive.
This whole hobby.
It's not that expensive over time. On an older tank, do you need to dose more or less? I don't even know how to answer that. What a terrible question for me to end this with.
Shame.
No, the question is fine.
What is their name?
The question. Shame. No, it's not them. It's us who is being terrible
I'm
at
kidding,
answering the question.
It's a very lovely lovely question.
Dosing with age. Wide coverage due to difference of the tank to control nutrients. Yeah. Oh, balance nutrients, bring up and one down. I am not into that, really.
No.
The chasing the nutrients.
Can we say that too? That's that company with the like Triton method where they're chasing all these tiny little things.
That's and some people. So okay, good. I'm glad you brought that up because they'll sue us. No, they'll sue you, and then they'll own that sex diaper table you have back there.
Sex diaper table. No, Omar's gonna come to my rescue. He's gonna donate a fuck ton of beer, and we're gonna take over Triton and run them into the ground.
There are people who run the Triton method and have baller tanks. They're great.
Oh, I've seen it.
They're great, right? So I think this comes back to what we've been saying before is, what is your philosophy? Stick to it, tweak it where it's tweakable, and as you learn new things. So, there's a million ways to skin a reef. If you're doing the Triton method,
I think it's a cat, bro.
Stay with that method, right? Don't do half of it and then go, doesn't work. Any of the methods will work. You just got to do them. Right?
It's kind of part of the hobby.
Yeah. What is?
Experimentation and figuring out what you like with the less amount of work and blah, blah, blah. And
yeah. Right. I mean, so
there's no size fits all.
Why do I generally not dose stuff to the tank like iodine? Because when I stopped dosing it, nothing changed.
I hand dose it, man, and I'm telling you, it's funny. Like I always say, like, this is how long I've been doing this, but I do the same thing too. Like add potassium iodide, and there's reefs. There's clients I have that I always do that, and then sometimes like run out, forget it for a while, and I'm looking at the reef, but then I do it again. And I'm like, oh, I think the blue looks bluer, and the red looks redder. And I'm like, but is it?
Yeah.
Again, it's that Thor meme. But is it?
Is it? So yeah, I don't know. When things are going wrong, look, I've been known to buy some magic in a bottle of bacteria or whatever it is when things are going wrong and pour it in my tank so I feel like I've done something. I have no idea if it works or not.
What an asshole.
That's your line?
There's
a racist bowl right here, and
yeah.
That's what makes you call me an asshole?
It is. Yeah. I'm a funny feller.
So I'm sorry, SAF1. We can't really get you a great question to your question and answer. I don't know. I'm not the boss of it. It's dosing. It gets into like chasing numbers, and that makes me nervous.
Well, okay. I mean, so as the mass of corals gets larger and larger, the more demand of stuff on the system, yes, sure. You will have to add, whether you want to add it by hand or dose it or whatever, you're going to have to put more stuff in for that greater growth.
But I mean, do you just get through water changes? I guess people don't want to do water changes anymore. So, I mean, that's part of
water change person, but yeah.
Part of my theory with the automatic water changes to keep trace elements topped up.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just what I've been going off now because all of a sudden automatic water changes with the Apex became easy.
Yeah. I still go against that because for me, like I said in the last episode, is water change for me is a very functional thing where you get in and do stuff, storm it, gravel back, wet skin, blah, blah, blah. And so for me, and it, man, I know what people would be thinking. Well, you're a maintenance guy. Of course, you don't want automatic water change. But there is another thing, too. I've seen cool reef tanks where maintenance guys are taking care of it, doing automatic water changes. And I've seen cool stuff because, because part of me is also like, man, I'm a pretty good reefer with a pretty good brain. There's other stuff that I could be doing than hauling around buckets.
Yeah. I know some people, don't like controllers because they're like, exactly. But they don't like controllers because like, I'm the controller. And it's like, yeah, of course. Well, unless you want to use a controller. I mean, what you just said about buckets is I don't lift salt water ever now.
And, it shows.
I don't. Going in a cave.
You're wearing my grandma's sweater, bro.
Yeah, your dad is my son.
You know what? It's probably there's the Kraken.
The Kraken. I've had this since I was 10.
That's awesome.
Is that crazy?
Now see, that Kraken has been toting around buckets of water. He's swole. He's a pipe hitter.
He is swole.
But I realized. Can I say one thing is that?
No, I'm going to talk first.
Well, go ahead, because I love you, baby. I love you, baby.
I realized I hated moving salt around, and I realized I wasn't doing. You've been under my house. Crawl space, not so great for boxes of salt.
And this is why you are the John Wayne Casey of Reefkeeping.
That's right.
You've got people under your house.
You know what? I'm going to do when we hit 1,000 subscribers.
I'm going to kill you. And then the show's over.
When we hit 2,000 subscribers, you're going to wear spandex.
I'm supposed to wear spandex.
No, you're going to wear spandex.
I will. Okay.
When we hit 1,000, let's give a quicker one. 1,000, I'll do the show from the crawl space.
Oh, dude.
I'll be in the crawl space.
And then you'll emerge like Jesus.
Exactly. And say there's 4 more months of reefing this year.
Wait a minute. That's like a gopher, Pawatana, Pawatuxi, whatever. But dude, wait. the groundhog sees his shadow.
We all know what the
groundhog is Jesus. But the best name for the show, you're the Jesus of Reefkeeping.
No. Maybe. Okay.
You're a pushover.
I'm going to get a tattoo on my neck that says that.
Yeah, it says no regrets.
Like Mugato.
Mugato. What is it? That building is too small.
Is that a building for ants? Dang. Ben, that was a good show. I enjoyed that.
It was fun. I hope other people enjoyed it.
I hope they did too. Maybe they'll let us know in the comments below if they liked it, what they did like, what they didn't like, what they disagree with us on. Maybe they
have questions too. Put those.
Maybe they'll ask questions, and if they put them down there, maybe we'll even answer them in the comments. Maybe.
I have to admit, I've been looking at YouTube comments. I've kind of gone against what I've said.
Yeah, no one's saying anything horrible, so that's nice.
Well, that's disappointing. I like.
No, don't we want? If you have horrible things to say about the show, address them
direct them to me. Direct them to me.
But if you can, right below in the links, there's a buy us a beer, buy us a coffee. That helps us out at some. Shopping at our sponsor, saltwateraquarium.com helps us. And as usual, we also have notifications if you want to know hot in your email when the next episode comes out. Sign up for that. And also, if you subscribe and like on YouTube, that helps us. And if you share the podcast around, share the video around to groups, that will help us a lot. That will help us get a bigger base of people who are paying attention. And we think they'll like the show because you like the show. And if you like the show, if you don't like the show, but you're watching anyway, you should share this stuff around anyway, because why should you be the only one suffering?
Yeah. Say, look at this crap and share it too.
Yeah, that's right. This is terrible.
Look at these idiots.
Yeah. And on that note, Ben, I think we're done and we'll talk next week.
All right. I bid you adieu. Thank you, beefers.
Adieu. Thank you, Reef Beef people.
Hey, Reef Beefers, the new Reef Beef coming to you. My name is Ben, and my co-host Rich is running away. He's in his cave, actually. He may emerge on Easter because he's got to cover up a cup. He's got to cover up the name. But then he will return that'd be so rad if you came out of your cave. This is a missed opportunity. On the third day, when the hell did Jesus come out of his cave and push the boulder aside, and he hath risen? And this is just me sitting here talking about a cave and a boulder while Rich finds his gaffer's tape so he can cover up the king of burgers so as not to advertise for said sandwich type place. And he's got a coelacanth on a racist bull.
Kitty, no.
Maybe.
Kitty.
And now he's fighting a cat. Quick, Kitty! Emerge from the cage. Now's your opportunity.
She's not going to leave. Now I'm trapped.
You missed an opportunity to emerge from your cave. Oh, is there any way? Do you fit in there?
Yeah, it's just I got her. You got her? Thank you. It's just a...
What if I introduce you and you emerge from the cave?
I can't move the boulder myself, Ben.
What kind of Jesus are you? That's a shitty Jesus.
What should be back there?
You.